Hey guys, Herman here from Sans Magic, and welcome to Flashy, an extremely visual phone vanish that happens between your bare hands. Now first off, I want to thank you for picking up this project and supporting us here. I know you guys are going to have lots of fun performing it. Now this effect was inspired by the FISM Flash. For those of you who are not familiar with what that is, it's basically a flashing device that you would install underneath your sweater, and then it's wired to the switch in a way where it's heavy. And this would be used to, perform the traditional flash effect for a top-it effect. With that in mind, the Sans Creative Lab loved the visual of that, but wanted to make it more motivating. So, thus the birth of Flashy, an organic way to perform the flash effect with something that people are already familiar with, the flash from a phone. Now the system is safe, reliable, it takes seconds to set up, and then you'll always be ready to vanish any phone you wish. Now in the explanation, we're going to go over everything you need in order to perform the effect, including what comes with the DVD, what to do with the stuff, and of course the main handling, and also some valuable tips and ideas for you to take away with, so be sure to watch the entire DVD before you go out to perform this. Now, with all that said guys, let's get into it.
Make sure this is a real phone, but put your number in there.
Okay.
I was just kidding. You don't need to do that. Because you're almost gonna put your number in my phone, so that's fine. I'm going to show you guys a really cool app. You know what? You guys keep your eyes on the phone here, okay? You're gonna like this. 3, 2, 1. What the? 3, 2, 1. Go! 3, 2, 1.
What the
Welcome to the secret section, in which we briefly walk over how the illusion of the vanishing phone is created. Now, there is a gimmick involved. Right now I have mine hooked up in my jacket. So it goes around my shoulder. It's an elastic cord, and goes around my shoulder, upper arm area. And as you can see, it runs along over here, and attached on the other end is a suction. Now this would be hidden inside my jacket, and whenever I want to perform the illusion, there is a get in, but let's just say I got into it. Basically all you're doing is just retrieving this, attaching it to the phone, okay? And whenever you want to perform the effect, you would set your timer up. This would happen beforehand, but you would press a shutter, you watch the counter, and when it's about to flash, you would time it so that at the end of the flash, this would vanish. And just like that, it looks like the phone vanishes. And you can show that there's apparently nothing inside your jacket by hiding the phone. And of course, your sleeves are rolled up, so it's a very, very fair display. Of course, your sleeves are rolled up, so it's a very, very fair display. Of course, it's a lot more deceptive with the flash on, because then it gives this magical moment for the spectators to concentrate on. And it looks like pure magic. Now, I want to briefly talk about in terms of the phone. Of course, I said that it works with any phone. You can vanish any phone. However, there are more optimal phones for the vanish. For example, darker phones are easier to hide in terms of when you do the vanish. If it's white, then there's this contrast and you risk flashing. Of course, all the details will be gone over later on in the tip section. However, another thing to watch out for are smaller phones. If you have something like an iPhone 6 Plus and you want to vanish that, it will still work, but it does require a little more practice because you have more to hide. Now I want to briefly talk about your angles. Your most optimal angle is directly in front of you. If you're to perform for a few people, the visual is just amazing. However, if you have people to your right, because my pulley is retracting into my jacket from my right side, they're not going to be able to see anything. However, the people you want to watch out for are the people on your left. About 20 degrees, you risk exposing the suction and of course the phone going into your jacket. However, this is just from an average magician's point of view. If you are experienced with audience management and you know how to work with your angles, then you know that you can perform this basically 180, if not even 360, because their concentration is on the phone. The flash before the phone vanishes, and that's where the attention is, not the phone going into your jacket, because no one's going to see what they're not looking for. So with that in mind, that is a secret of the effect. That is how the vanish is done. So let's get into how to prepare yourself to perform Flashy. Let's get into how to prepare yourself to perform Flashy. Now, first things first, I want to go over what comes with the DVD. The first thing is this black elastic cord over here, okay? This is what's going to help get the phone to retract into your jacket. Now, a lengthy amount. The next thing you will be getting is a suction right over here, okay? You'll receive one of these. And another thing that you'll receive is the safety pin. Okay? Now the safety pin is kind of optional, but we'll get into the details later. Bearing those things in mind, let's get in how to prepare yourself and construct the gimmick. So the first thing you'll need to do is take your elastic cord and fold it in half so that the two ends meet just like so, and over here, it's folded in half. So this is what you're left with. Now you'll want to take that suction that was provided for you, and you want to loop this through the suction. Okay? As you can see, there's a hole. All you have to do is just feed it through. And then you want to find both ends and get it right on the center, just like that, okay? So at this point, this is what you are left with. Both ends meet. And then now, what you'll want to do is tie a knot. So there's a knot on the bottom of the suction over here to secure it. So we can begin by having both sides over here. Tie a knot all the way to the suction, just like that. Now I find that one knot is enough, but you can tie a second knot just to be a little more secure. Now what you want to do is you want to tie these ends right over here, okay? Just like so. It's a little tricky with elastic cord, but as long as you tie a knot, just like that, okay? So once you've tied your knot, as you can see, both ends should have the same amount of tension, so they should meet on top, just like that, okay? And then here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna tie a knot at the end as well, just over here, okay? So you can just loop it around and then feed it through to tie a lovely knot on this end. So you now have a knot on this end and a knot over here. So now you want to create a loop that goes around your shoulder, and that would be this end right over here, this section. However, you want to tie a knot on this end closer to the suction, about 4 to 5 inches away from the suction right over here is where you want to tie that knot. Okay, so we're going to do that. Just feed it through. Just like that. Okay, so after tying your first knot right over here, this is the loop that you created in order to go over your shoulder, as you can see. Now in this case, this might be a little bit too loose, but I'm just going to put it around my shoulder, just like this, okay, around my arm. And this is actually not too bad, if I can find that right over here. However, there's a bit of additional space right over here. I know it's a little bit hard to see when I stretch it out. If it's a little loose, all you have to do is take it off and then tie a knot closer to the other end, just over here. So let's do that right now. Okay, so now this loop would be going through my arm, over here, the top portion around my armpit and my shoulder, and this will be coming out from my armpit, just like so. And this seems like the right amount of tension, the perfect amount to do the phone vanish. And now leaving this on my shoulder over here, just to make it a little more secure. Now right now this is tight enough where I don't need to worry about it, but that safety pin that was provided for you right over here, you can always pin this to your shirt. That way it'll prevent it from sliding down. However, that is just an option for you guys. So off my shoulder, this is what it looks like. There's a knot down over here to secure the suction cup. And then there's this knot over here, which is 4 to 5 inches above the suction. And the second knot is not mandatory, it's just optional. It's there in case it's too loose on your shoulder. Okay, so it's just to tighten it, but this is just a remainder of the elastic cord from this knot. Now we have the final one on top right over here, just to secure everything together, just like that. And this is what you're left with. So your gimmick is now done. However, there's a few more things for you to bear in mind. In terms of your attire, what you're wearing, your outfit, you want to wear something that is black or dark enough to hide that elastic cord. Now the elastic cord is black already. However, you want a color that matches that so that you don't, wear a white shirt and then a black cord. There's too much of a contrast. It doesn't hide that well. So something like this would be great. Now, in terms of your jacket, you'll want to wear a jacket to cover it. You want to wear a heavier jacket, okay? That way, when the phone goes into your jacket, it doesn't flutter or move too much. So let's say that you don't have heavier jackets. Maybe you have lighter jackets. That's okay too. You can still perform with that. However, you want to add some weight to it. So in terms of the gimmick, it would be on my right side over here. So I would add maybe an external battery or even a deck of cards into my right pocket. That way it'll help weight it and that way it won't, flutter when the phone goes and vanishes into your jacket. Now, in terms of your phone settings, you want to turn your flash on for obvious reasons, and you also want to turn the timer to about 3 seconds. Now, the nice thing about the iPhone that I've been using is that there's a bit of a delay before the flash happens, and it's a fairly long flash, enough time for you to do the vanish and having it to look absolutely miraculous. So bear that in mind. And also, before you actually do the vanish, you can do this while you're handling the phone, or you can do this beforehand as well. You want to turn your brightness all the way down, because when you do the vanish, the phone can flip a little bit, and then if your screen is super bright, then you risk flashing. However, if your screen is all the way down, then there's no bright light that's going straight into your jacket. It can be hidden in your shadow. So bear that in mind. Now, in situations where you're performing in daylight, this may not even matter, but that is something to keep in mind when you're performing in, dimmer environments. So that is how you prepare your gimmick, set yourself up so you're ready to perform flashy. Now at this point, you have your gimmick hooked up and you're ready to perform the phone vanish. Now let's say you found your victims and you want to perform the vanish to them. Now there are 2 ways to get into the position for the vanish. You've watched the secret section, you know that the suction needs to be on the face of the phone before, having the phone between your hands and then doing the vanish. Now how you do that? Number 1 is you can do it while you're patting yourself down and looking for your phone. So in this case, I have my phone on the left pocket, because on my right side is where I have the gimmick. So I have my phone over here. I'd be patting myself down as if I'm looking for my phone, patting everywhere. Don't know where my phone is, and I would grab this suction out nonchalantly and then put it between my thumb and my index finger, just like so. So right now the position is I'm pinching it in between my thumb and my index, like so, facing down. Okay? So this is the position. So as I'm looking for my phone and patting myself down, I get into the position, and then I'll be holding onto my jacket very naturally and tilting my wrist up a little bit so I don't risk exposing this black cord. Okay? As I'm doing that, I know where my phone is. I pull it out from my left pocket and then have the spectators examine it. And at this point, let's say that they're holding onto the phone, I could just casually hold onto my jacket like so. Now let me show you that all together in real time. So as if I'm looking for my phone, I'm patting myself down. Is it in this pocket? Don't really know. Of course, you wouldn't be saying all of that. Oh, here's my phone. And I already have this in position. As long as you're natural with trying to find your phone, this is covered in the gestures of finding your phone. They're not going to be directly staring at you as you are doing the get ready, as you are right now when you're trying to learn this. Now, that is the first way to get into the get ready position. Second way is for you to do so while they're inspecting your phone. So when you want to introduce your phone, doesn't matter where you introduce it from, you have them inspect your phone, maybe make a gag and say, just put your phone number in there, get a few laughs. And while they're looking at the phone, you can just naturally reach in, go for the gimmick, and go into position. And it happens so fast, and you can just wait until the moment you're about to grab the phone, and that's a great time for you to do so, because no attention is drawn towards you. All the attention is to the phone, and you are, of course, talking to the spectator as well. That is where the attention lies. So that is the second way to do so. Let's do that again. You put your phone number in my phone. Maybe we'll have a good time later, And then you grab the phone back, and this happens so fast. Straightening your jacket, grab it back, and this is the position you're left with. Either way, to get in, this is the position. How do you put the suction onto the phone? Very easy. You can naturally wipe the phone and make maybe a joke and say, now the phone is dirty, or your hand's dirty, and then you wipe away the phone, and now the suction is on the phone, just like that. Now let's break that down. Let's go a little slower. The mechanic of it is that you're bringing the phone closer towards you. Your hands are going to come together. This is going to open up, this right hand, and you're going to attach and stick that suction on there. You don't need a lot of pressure. All you have to do is just attach it, and then apparently wipe the phone a little bit as you are holding it with your left hand, just like that. So again, I'm attaching it with my right hand, just like that, okay? Where you attach it, generally around the middle area and the bottom-ish area. Now, there is a difference, and I'll talk about that later, but right now I'm just putting it near the middle, right over here. And right now, I'm holding it with my left hand. This is the grip. And once you've applied it and you wiped away your phone very naturally, you can transfer it over to your right hand. Of course, no attention should be drawn towards this action as you are just naturally, taking your phone back and wiping it away. You can always make a joke about it. As I said, what Jason likes to say is just say, are your hands dirty? But then you're putting attention on the phone. So you can just take back the phone, wipe it away, and as long as you hide it in your natural body gestures, It'll just fly by, just like the getting into the position of getting the suction in your hand. So once you're in this position, you are now almost ready to perform the vanish. Now in the prep section, we already talked about what's the most optimal setting for your phone to be in order to perform the vanish. So let's say we've done that already. What you do now is hit the shutter, get all of your audience attention onto the phone, just say, look at the phone, and have them watch. And you can watch the timer, and when the timer goes off, that's when you do the vanish. Now remember, the timing is very important for this. You want the vanish to be happening right after that big flash. Again, I'm using an iPhone, so the flash will last a little longer. If you're using other phones, the flash may happen quicker, like a pop, so you'll need to work on your timing for that. But you perform the vanish right when the flash goes off. Boom, crush the phone, it is gone. So right now we already know where the phone is. It retracted back into your jacket in terms of your position. It's right over here. Phone is sitting over here. All you have to do now is just go slow with it. The dirty work is already done. Once you vanish the phone, again, there's nothing on my sleeves, very fair display. Wait, but there's nothing in my jacket either. So you would hold onto the phone right over here. You would use the jacket to cover the phone and give the illusion that there's nothing inside your jacket. So you can turn around and give that illusion. And that's the vanish. So if it's your own phone, that's a very lovely way to close your routine, or you can even perform it as a standalone effect. Very lovely vanish for flashy. Now, so let's talk more in detail of the vanish without the flash. In terms of the mechanic, what you want to do is hold it between your left hand and your right hand, just like so. Left hand on the bottom, right hand on top. Now let's go from this position actually. So let's say you're ready to perform the effect. You would grip the phone so that your left hand comes and contacts the bottom. You would hold the phone on the top with your right hand, just like so. Now the shutter button is right over here, so I would hit that first. And then I would display very fairly the phone between my hands with my fingers spread apart like so. Very clean visual. Now in terms of your angles of things and the positioning of your hand, you want to be able to cover this black cord over here. Now right now you shouldn't really be able to see it. However, if I went too low over here, you might be able to see that cord. However, of course, we talked about your attire. You want to be wearing something black. So right now the cord is relatively hidden anyways. So if you want to go a little bit lower, that is an option. However, most optimal position is right over here near the center of your body. So when you're ready to perform the vanish, so the first few clicks you want to hide with your finger. The first few flashes, because it tends to do a flash every second before the big flash. You hide it, and then once you see the timer, you can actually even watch the timer on your screen. And once it hits 1, that's when you know that you want to be a little careful now. You want to prepare yourself to do the vanish. The big flash goes. Right when it ends, you release your grip of the phone, and then your hands come together. And the phone goes into your jacket. Now right now it's a little bit stuck because I'm going slow. So let me do that one more time. Just like that, as you can see, the phone retracts back into my jacket. So let me show you that one more time in a different angle. Let's say the countdown is going 3, 2, 1, big flash. Hands come together and the phone retracts. So I want to give you guys a few quick tips, some troubles that you may run into when you're first executing the vanish. Now, when you're doing the vanish and the phone goes into your jacket, what if it hits your jacket? That's a common problem when you're first starting out with flashy. Now, if the phone were to hit the jacket and the jacket flutters, it destroys the illusion. So one way to prevent that is to lean forward a little bit. That way you have some space created between the jacket and your body. So there's a bigger opening for the phone to travel in and not hit your jacket. Now, another tip is if you perform the vanish closer to your body, you decrease the distance that the phone needs to travel into your jacket. That way you reduce the risk of flashing. Now, if you perform it out a lot, then that's a bolder move. It looks more clean. However, you risk it hitting your jacket. So be sure to play with this in front of a mirror, get your angles right, and see what looks the most optimal for yourself. One thing to watch out for, again, is the jacket. Number 2 is flashing the phone when it goes into your jacket. Now, how that happens is if you hold the phone too low, and then you can see it from up top from your right hand. Now, if you hold it too high, then of course you might be able to see the phone vanish as well. Those are not optimal things. So 2 things to watch out for when you are practicing this in front of a mirror or a camera. Now, you know what you're left with right now. The phone is inside your jacket, it's still on the suction. And if